Hey guys, welcome back to Ask HR, your channel for authentic HR content. The last couple of weeks has been exciting. We've been looking at systems and goals. I have gotten some very good feedback from you about how helpful it has been so far. So thank you so much for your feedback. This week I'm going to begin a new series that's going to be extremely helpful to all of us. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Share the video, like it, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I have observed, and I'm sure you also have, people who have been in one role forever, for the longest of time. And the whole time they're holding that position, they are complaining about being passed on for one promotion or another. They are always being passed up for opportunities. They are in that role, they don't like it. I remember in the first video I did this year where I talked about turning the job you have into one that you love. I mentioned that one of the things you can do if you find yourself in this position is to develop a positive attitude towards your work. But then there's also the place where you force yourself to outgrow the current mode in which you find yourself, for which reason you are being passed up for opportunities all the time. You've been in the same place for a very long time. In today's video, I'm going to let you in on the mind of your employer, or the mind of your manager, or the mind of your organization, so that you really understand what's going on, and then you can position yourself properly for the advancements you want to see in your career. I'm trying to keep this video really short, so I probably would have to do a couple of series so that I get the complete message that I'm trying to pass across today. I want to share with you who a high potential employee is. What is it? I don't know if you've heard it before, you've heard anyone mention it before. So in the human resource function, there are different positions and titles that people hold. For instance, you can have a payroll specialist, a data analyst, you can have a generalist, you can have a learning and development specialist, etc. Now, one of the trends that have been around for some time now is the title called talent manager. So before, an HR generalist will probably be doing most of what the talent manager is doing today. But now when you go into an organization, you can have someone who is an HR generalist, and then you can have someone who is a talent manager, and these roles are specialized now. Now, when we talk about talent management, we're talking about someone who is able to get the talent and closely monitor their development, in different phases of their career within an organization. Okay, so for many organizations, big ones, serious ones, they've been practicing this for years now. New organizations, startups, and the rest are also catching on. So they have what we call a talent management program. Now, this information is very important unless maybe your career doesn't really matter to you, or your career advancement doesn't matter to you, which I doubt. This information is very, very important for you. So they have what we call the talent management program. In a nutshell, what that means is that they sort of group the employees into categories so that they will be able to properly allocate resources into their development. Okay, so they call it that, so that they will be able to appropriately allocate what they call threads. Now, thread is TREADS. So they'll be able to properly allocate trainings, rewards, education, advancements, and developments. Okay, so they group the employees into 4 categories for most organizations, or yeah, for most organizations, so they will be able to properly allocate their resources. Now what happens is that a large chunk of the resources are going to be channeled towards people they call high value employees, or high potential employees, or high flyers, or what they call super keepers. Every organization has, a name for what they call it. Now, according to research, most organizations believe that their high flyers form 2% of their employee population or their staff strength. Okay, and then they believe that 20% also form their what they call keepers. So they have the super keepers, which are the very topmost guys, people who deliver very high level value, 2%. Then they have the 20% who are also keepers, who also deliver exceptional value. And then they have the 70%. I won't call them average, but some organizations call them they are solid citizens. So people who apply themselves to the organization's values and also are delivering what's expected of them. Then they have the 3% at the bottom, who some organizations call the misfits. So I've given you 4 categories: the super keepers, the keepers, the solid citizens, and the misfits. So it's clear that if you find yourself in the 70% section, you're going to be playing there for the longest of time. If you find yourself in the bottom 3%, you're probably on your way out. So you see that they are going to be paying attention, allocating resources, opportunities for advancement for these people who fall within the super keepers and then the keepers. And today I even want to focus on getting yourself in the top 2%, because that is really possible. So I just summarized what organization's talent management program is. So in a nutshell, they are going to focus on cultivating their super keepers and also retaining key position backups in the 20%. So the truth is, if you are working in a serious organization, an organization that cares about talent management, and you don't find yourself in the top 2% or the top 20%, then they are not going to be paying any attention. They're going to be treating you okay, but you realize that when it comes to things that matter, advancements that matter, growth that matter, you may not be getting as much as you would want to. So with this said, what do organizations deem as a high potential? There's such a thing as that. And look, I'm encouraging you in this video to not see yourself as the average person. You really have it in you to stretch to get there. So for many organizations, there are so many definitions here and there about a high potential, high value employee or a super keeper. But basically, it's someone who is such a valuable contributor to the organization and has immense stretch capability. What I mean by that is, for a high potential employee, okay, whatever level they find themselves in right now, they have such a stretch capability that maybe if there's a contingency and they need someone to fill a role which is 2 steps above where they are right now, a high potential employee has the stretch ability to be able to fill that role. It may be uncomfortable, but they will get a hang of it in a matter of months, because they have that innate ability, or they've developed the ability to stretch themselves to hit the targets that are required of them. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's who a high potential employee is. I'm sure at this point some people will probably begin to write themselves off, but don't do that. Don't write yourself off yet. Okay, so what? Maybe you're a middle level manager. You probably are reporting to the corporate director, who is reporting to the regional vice president. Let me just put it that way. So you're thinking, oh, I'm just here mid-level manager, how do I move myself into such a level and make it? So let's answer that question by just sharing with you today. There are so many traits of who a high potential employee is, but in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you 3 of such critical attributes. I call it the anatomy of the high potential employee. I'm going to share with you 3 today. I am going to share with you a couple more in my next couple of videos. So the first key thing about high potential employees is that they deliver strong results credibly. And the key word here is credibly. The numbers matter, right? It's really important. And for a high performer, competence is the baseline of your performance. Competence, your ability to deliver on your deliverables and the numbers. But you want to do that credibly. Why is it important? You don't want to be rising at the expense of your team or your colleagues, or sometimes even your boss. You don't want to do that, because by the time you get to the top, trust me, you need all the support you can get. You don't want to get to the top having created enemies for yourselves amongst your colleagues, your subordinates. It's going to be a tough journey for you at the top there. So you want to build credibility whilst delivering on your deliverables. Build trust and confidence on all levels with your colleagues, with your subordinates, with your bosses. And this will help you influence a wide array of stakeholders, because sometimes you believe that, oh, my promotion is hinged on my boss's recommendations. No, for credible organizations, you're going to be reviewed 360. Everyone is going to contribute to giving you a positive review. So for a high potential employee, yes, your competence is important, your ability to deliver on your numbers is important, but you need to do that credibly. So the second key thing is that high potential employees know how to master new expertise, quickly. They know how to master new expertise. Now, early on in your career, what really gets you noticed is your technical ability, your ability to deliver on the numbers, as we've mentioned. Your technical know-how, your technical competencies really matter. But as you progress and as you grow, you would be required to expand your knowledge beyond just your technical ability, because you will now have opportunities to probably manage a team of people, manage a group of employees, and other responsibilities that require you to stretch your ability to lead, your ability to coordinate group activities. You realize that if all you know, or if all you have been able to do, or if all you know how to do is to deliver on the technical requirements of your job, you're not going to be dialing anybody's number there. Okay, so I have seen this I've worked with tech startups, so I have seen how that they're extremely good, tech guys who deliver on their deliverables as far as their job demands goes. But then when it comes to managing a team, there's just chaos. There's no communication, no coordination whatsoever. If that happens to you, you are not viewed, or you are not perceived as a leadership material. Okay, so you're good. You'll probably be able to build a career, a successful career, along the lines of your technical expertise. But when it comes to holding leadership and more strategic roles, you will be passed up for the opportunity time and time again. So another key thing about high potential employees is that they are able to master new expertise quickly, especially expertise in the area of team coordination, leadership, strategy, etc. The third key thing I want to share with you today, as part of the anatomy of a high potential employee, is the fact that they are able to adjust their behavior quickly. What I mean by that is they are quickly able to shift and adjust their behavior from fit and affiliation, which occurs early on in your career. You're trying to find your foot, you want to be associated for someone who delivers on their numbers, etc., to assume the role model teacher, mode. They are quickly able to do that. So you find that these people in a group setting where no one has been given any formal authority as a leader, they quickly assume the role of a leader without necessarily naming themselves one, but based on the decisions, the choices, just the way they carry themselves about. Everyone automatically is looking up to their leadership, even though they've not received any formal authority as one. These are three things that form the anatomy of a high value, high potential employee or a super keeper. I'm going to be sharing more with you, and what the action I need you to take is sit back and look at these traits. Which of them do I fall into? And if I really want to find myself in this top 2%, what are some of the actions that I need to take? In subsequent videos, I'm going to share with you how to become a high potential employee. You do not want to miss that video. So thank you so much for staying with me in today's video. I would like for you to subscribe if you haven't done so yet, like it and share your comments with me. I'd like to know what you think. Have you thought about this? Have you heard it before? Share your thoughts with me. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video.